This is an unbelievable amount of water that has allowed for a historic flood.
There's a big fire. Please send something out outside the line. We have a very large fire out on 1441.
In the very first moments of a disaster, first and foremost, imagine your doors being banged on by a fireman and he's screaming at you to get out.
I think there's shock, trauma, a little bit of denial. Is this really happening? I can't even fathom what it would be like to lose everything.
Oftentimes asking deep questions of faith. Where is God in the midst of this? And how could a good God let this happen? Who will answer those questions if it's not the church? And how will the church answer them if we don't get behind the yellow tape? Austin Disaster Relief Network is a network of churches that are united to bring hope into crisis all throughout Greater Austin. And it's unique in the sense that God has brought His church together to organize and to get trained and prepare prior to disaster taking place so that we can mobilize as one church into the heart of crisis, therefore getting behind the yellow tape through the relationships that we have with leaders and officials and being able to serve those in real need at possibly the worst and most challenging times of their life.
The beauty behind what we do is that it's all about one church with one mission, with one purpose, as one voice, and it's what the government that we work with really truly want. As one church, we're able to provide emotional and spiritual crisis intervention. It's one of the most key components that ADRN provides for those impacted by disasters to help pull them out of their trauma.
We believe that there's a heart cry in every believer when they are faced with need that says, I have to do something, I have to help, I have to respond. And it's a heart cry that God Himself has put there. Great tragedy takes place and believers want to do something, but they don't know what to do and they don't know how to do it. You know, out of all the ways that we respond in the midst of disaster, our number one goal is to get the survivors into the hands of the local church, to walk with them over the next 2 or 3 months as they put the pieces of their lives back together again. And I am convinced that this is one of the most powerful ways that we, as the church, have to bring about transformation in the lives of the people that we serve. Through relationship, through the living witness of testifying of the goodness of God, connecting them with resources, and helping minister to their emotional and spiritual needs during that time. We believe prayer and His presence is so central in everything that we do. And we believe that God has uniquely called His church to do it. And by being united as a network of churches, we are empowered to step in and walk with these families to bring about the greatest help that they could possibly need.
Before you get the training, you imagine that somehow you've got to come up with all the answers. You're not asked to save the world or to come up with the totality of the solution. You're just there to do what was told you to do, whether that's mucking out a house or whether it's sitting across from a family in crisis and listening to their story.
And to see their life completely transformed by the end, where it was actually better than what it was before.
It's overwhelming that people go out of their way for other people. I just never knew that I was that important.
If they wouldn't have taken me on and helped me out, I wouldn't have been able to rebuild my house.
Just how amazing God is, you know, that He's taken a disaster, you know, turned it into a blessing in our lives.
We come out changed. We come out more convinced of the goodness of God, more compelled to live in light of the gospel and for eternity.
As time goes on and crisis increases, it's putting your money where your mouth is. It's boots on the ground. It's walking out the gospel.
Over the last 7 years, disasters have seemed to be growing in size, and the overwhelming need for people is huge. It's no longer if a disaster will happen, but when. One church can't do it alone. One government can't do it alone. One ministry or organization can't do it alone. It's going to take the entire community to come together, to work together, to roll up our sleeves together, to be trained and prepared in advance and be able to respond in a time of crisis.